¿Estamos? Hi everyone, and welcome to this edition of SAS on Talks, an online lecture series organized by the Spanish Architects Society. My name is Javier López Menchero, and I am one of the members of the Spanish Architects Society in Australia. We are a non-profit organization that aims to encourage and strengthen an active link between Spanish and Australian architecture and design. This SAS on Talks is the first online lecture series that we organized, and I would like to thank all the guest speakers, the organization, and the sponsors that make it possible. And I just also wanted to mention that you can watch the other 3 SAS on Talks that we already published on our YouTube channel. And you can get more information about what we do and who we are in other SAS media platforms, such as Instagram, LinkedIn. And today, in what it is the 4th SAS on Talks, it is truly a personal honor for me to introduce our guest speaker, Carme Pinós. Carme Pinós, who I am sure you already know because of the extensive architecture career, otherwise you wouldn't know, founded Studio Carme Pinós in 1991, an architecture studio of international renown based in Barcelona. And even before that time, she had already designed architectural landmarks such as the Cementerio de Igualada. Studio Carme Pinós is experienced in different scale projects that range from the urban scale to object design. And they have many fantastic projects, such as the Torre Cube in Guadalajara, the Escola Massana in Barcelona, and the whole area that surrounds it, that includes the Plaza de la Garduña, Parc Fasado de la Boqueria, and more recently, the Hotel Sombrul in Mallorca, that is beautifully immersed in the Mallorquin landscape. I personally love it. Here in Australia, she designed the Pavilion 2018 in Melbourne. As they put it, a place to establish a sophisticated relationship with nature, which for me personally, I believe it actually achieved in different levels of complexity. This relationship happened with the geometry and the structure, of course, but also in a material plane and in the sensorial perception of space. And I think this is not just a personal opinion. This ability to control the different spheres of architecture is a common point in all the projects that Carme developed. The work of Carme Pinós has been widely recognized and awarded, both nationally in Spain and internationally, and her works broadly published. And I do not want to stand any longer, so I want to thank again Carme for joining us today. And Carme, after you are ready, please say just thank you very much.
Hey, hello. And first of all, sorry, my English is terrible, but I hope with the image you are going to understand what I mean. Okay. I'm going to present all the projects that have been named now. I don't present ni Garduña, La Massana, V1, because I thought this complex in the center of Barcelona, maybe it's not an example here in Australia that you don't have old city. And I thought maybe Caixa Forum or emblematic. Okay, you will see the project that I present. Yes. I will make next. Victoria, a ver, que no sé hacer el next. Sí, pero no me sale ahora. Okay, ya está. I start with the pavilion of Melbourne, Melbourne Pavilion. The history starts with a telephone call from Naomi, asked me if I want to make a pavilion, Guadalajara, and I start to think a little in abstract pavilion. They explain me a little the history that before my pavilion was Renkulhaus Pavilion, and I felt little depression to make something different, because if each year the pavilion is different, means that there are something that want to different and a little unspectacular. And was so difficult to think a pavilion, this simple structure in abstract, without know the site, and take me months find something. I explain that because so important that in architecture is the context. Because in the moment that I arrive at the site and I enter in contact with the landscape of the city and the garden, the project came quickly. And this is a very awful view in Google, but explain this is the Renkulham Pavilion, but it doesn't matter. The important is when I went there to discover this is a small, how do you say Montico? I never, Mont, hills, no? These circles, no? It's full of circles. The fontaine, this, and I went an actuation here, and I find that the most of the people were sitting in hills, and I said, okay, I'm going to start the project with that. No? In the front was the view, the landscape of Melbourne. No? The people explained me that in this direction the wind was very strong, and also seeing the people how use the pavilion, all these things that is reality, not to work in abstract. When you work in abstract, it's so difficult. I think the artist must be very, to be an artist, that they don't have context. I imagine that how difficult it must be to be artists. The architects will have the same. We have things to dialogue. No? And okay, we pass. This is the context. No, the context is these circles, and this is the basement that the city offer us. This is the basement that each project have the same basement, and also a circle of 60 meters that we can stay inside, no outside of this circle. And this is the fountain. And we start, okay, the decision to work with the hills. No, I say, okay, I like the things very simple. No, I explain several times that my architecture can explain always with the dialogue of two elements, maximum three. No, but always is, I like this thing very simple. And here is two plants, then fell, frost, no, and blend. Lo digo bien, corregidme si alguna palabra no digo bien. And this leg is one support, and the other support is the heel, no, and the contact with the other plant. And because the pavilion on Renkulhas, I like it, but I find that worked very well with an actuation. But I find that without actuation appear like something empty. And I say, I want to make something that with no people have the same meaning that these actuations, no? Like something that belongs to the park, maybe like an ornament of the park, something that, or maybe a furniture, something that have meaning for itself, and also to pass underneath with no actuation. I want to be part of the park. No only that have meaning with is in function. eh? This was also one idea that helped me to find the solution. No? The idea of must be something like an umbraculum, something that help is the people walking out of the building. And the third eye of the park, sorry, so early at the morning, the English still in bed. And the third the third ill is to protect the wind that come in this direction. This is the plan of the always drawing the hills, the circles, and our three circles here, one, and the third one that protects the wind, and the fountain, no? And all, no, is not an element put on, no? Something that you feel that belongs to them, no? I try to enter in dialogue with everything, with the trees that are here in the back, with the circle, with the landscape that is in front, that, no, because one leg and the open facing the landscape, no? This is the plan, that the hills is also the supporting of bunches, no? And you see the legs here, that here the legs at the third circle protect the winds, and can cross here and face the landscape that is completely in front. One of the, because we had a problem to storage all the material, no, like things for the coffee and the seeds, and one of the hills is empty to storage construction, because after I had problem with the municipality, because I wanted I explained these hills to permit the people sit, but the municipality, but I am agree with that, they was afraid that permit the people go up the roof, and they asked me to make a band. I say okay, and I make the band. The band is la defensa, the defense. The defense, no, part of the drawing that is the garden in the hills, no, but it's saying must be something that take part of the project, no. No, it's just, now I need to put a fence, no, okay, a fence must be completely attached at part of the project. And you see here, like the vegetation make this circle, the fence also. Okay, everything is integrated. Help me, please, help me. I feel more secure. Yeah, because okay, and also because each vision of the pavilion, each movement, the perspective and the perception change is also very sculptural, no? and you see the beautiful landscape of the city. Okay, I pass quickly, but you feed the fence. It's so it's part. Seems that no, it's not something that appear at the end. No, that was like that appear at the end. But I try to make part project great. This is the, and also I must say that Naomi, when asked me to do the project, she said me, "You are free. You can do everything you want." We have some rules, like the basement must be in the site, but the only thing that I ask you is to protect from the rain, no? Because in Melbourne it rain a lot, and I say, okay, this worrying about water, I make the water part of the project, no? Because we wanted to be some part of the park with the nature, dialogue with the trees, and I try to work with the shadows, no? That reason everything is transparent, we make change the perception of the pavilion, change in the moment of the day, because the shadow go through the panels in each moment different, and the roof is 3 layers, 2 in wood, and in the middle one the metacrilato that don't permit pass the water. The second layer make stop the sound of the, because the metacrilato, no, when the rain golpea.
Yeah, when it hits, yeah.
It make a lot of noise, but these 2 layers stop the sound, no? And when you are underneath, you see the water going down in the middle of these 2 layers of wood, and to arrive at this canal, no, enormous canal that pour the water, the hill. And also is the pavilion is a game of a natural effect, natural shadow, sun, water, and all that are material project for the construction. This is the different view, different hour of the day, no? So we play a lot with the light at night, and it worked very well. And I must say that because you see the plan are these 3 circles with the bunches that with the actuation in the center, but the problem was when the actuation was one side, no, is in the middle is empty, no bunches, and I decide to design a small banquito tool, no, small stage tool also.
Tool, yeah.
Tools. Okay, and but the problem was the storage of this stage, and we designed this small seat that is 3 pieces with no one nail. That is very easy. You cross, and the third you cross the legs, 1, 2, cross, and the third one with this shape and this thick, and was made in Barcelona and travel a small box, more than 40 seats. You see here how it worked when the actuation was not in the middle, not in a corner. Center is full of seats. That. and you see the canal, no? And you see the water arrive here and going down. The seat, I named it because now as Portugal produced me these seats, and the name of the seats is Naomi, because I designed for Naomi. Okay. Now another project, again the context, again the structure. You see that the projects are very simple, and how important is the structure. Normally, my project is expression of a structure, shape, not directly or structure, and the lecture of the context. Here is Zaragoza. You see the old city with these lines at the walls, medieval walls that are now a street. But it's clear the definition of the old city and the new city. And the train, here the traces of the old train, no? And this is the site of our project. And our project is a center, belong a bank, and is a cultural center for exhibition, temporary exhibition. The program was easy, easy and complex, because circulation of art and the complex of this project was to resolve little the circulation. But it's 2 rooms for exhibition, one double big than the other, and a theater, bueno, theater, no, for lectures, a small room for lectures and a cafeteria bar. This was the program. Sorry, I'm going to say to my people, Juan Antonio, estamos aquí. ¿Cuál cierra? Okay. And my observation was, this is the traces of the train that now is underneath, is underground, and leave all this area. No? And behind the train was this neighborhood that is a worker neighborhood, no? That for years and years have been separated of the old city by the train. And I say, okay, now is the opportunity to join a new city, worker neighborhood, the old city. This is the master plan that they present us. No, again, this desire to put the new city was not really high quality, but to put back to the old city. The old city with the, here is I think, I don't remember, it's a bullfighter. And this is a castle.
The bull ring.
Yeah.
The bull ring.
But a line of new building here facing the old city, that the old city more category, and leaving back again this worker neighborhood. And I said, no, I don't want to make a one face and back face, no? I say, this was my area. I want to transform the building in a door that is going to connect the historic city, the neighborhood, the resident. And this was my lecture site. Also, because the back part was a park, and also because my client was a bank, and this is something that represent them. They asked me something singular. I I make the project like something more sculptural. In a way, I wanted to be sculptural, the middle of the park, and also this tension to be a door, and also must be a machine that work very well, because, for example, when it was finished, all the museum that then prestan the pieces of art, came here to check if everything is correct, because it's very delicate, manipulation of art, because in a hand I wanted to be very singular, very sculptural, part of the park, but in another hand, must be machine that work, not problem. Okay, this is the first sketch. Bueno, models, yeah. No. The thing that I had very clear from the beginning is this idea of door, or this idea to put up the rooms, exhibition rooms, no? And I start to think about the room, how it work, and exhibition room, and I decide that maybe in L, no, work well, because the circulation can be like that, no more than a square, something linear seems that better for exhibition, no, that permit a circulation. And I decide to make the two square that cross. So simple. You see that here again is two elements that enter in dialogue between and make the solution. No? Always you realize that all the projects are simple. No? 2, 3 elements. Here again, 2 elements, then cross. In the center is all the circulation, and is the supporting of these 2 boxes suspended, and also is the supporting of an enormous beam that support in cantilever. And another thing, because I start to study museum, visit museum, and the thing that I didn't like the museum that I have seen is when you pass from one exhibition to another with context completely different, with not a space of the compression. No? I like the Caixa Forum Barcelona because it's all a factory that from one exhibition to another, you go out and you are in open air, and it's, I want something that in between the concentration of one exhibition to another, you have a far view, have spaces to decompress. And for that reason, from the beginning, I decided not to put one room over the other or one room in front of the other, in this movement, no? That when you go out from one room, you will see the later in the section. You can see the view from far, the city, underneath of the other. And we start the first thing that we decided, okay, we put the 2 room up, geometry, and how we support that. Then the walls, no? And the beam. No? You see here the small model express how the beam up here and going the cantilever here with ice. And also because the wall that support arrive from here, and this here to here. But the only piece that appear is this part, and the other is the supporting. We can cut we cut this part because you see here like something Librium, not more light, no, but because the rest of the wall is inside. But that appears like something very fragile. But you see, it's the structure that make shape. Here, wall arrive here with pillar, and this escalator here, and all. You see, because the, the, the height of the rooms are very big, 6 meters. That means when you go out underneath of the other volume, here you have more than 2 meters, and when you go out, you see the city. And I say that work like a machine, no, because this is a room, the other over here you have all the lecture rooms, and in the middle of the beam, the big beam, here there is one big beam and another small at bottom, and here you put the restaurant. The continuation of the restaurant is the terrace facing to the river, and when I say that I wanted to be a door for the all the new neighborhood, the worker neighborhood, a door is a door. No, it's not to pass underneath the building. It's one, and I have 2 volumes. I don't want that people pass underneath of the other volume. I want the people pass only here. And at the beginning, I didn't know how to manage. But in the morning, I said, okay, good. Going to make a garden going down, pick up the people. No, you see here, their knees on the ground. That is the amphitheater, the auditorium. And this is the construction. The construction was very funny because they built first all the concrete, all the walls in concrete, and normally a building start from the bottom to the top, and here it was contrary. The people of the city didn't understand anything. They are making factory. What that? Now they are very happy. And how was it's like a machine, I said, and the geometry was very precise, and all the circulation of the installation had to be in this square in the middle, no? But I didn't have space, no for the second stairs, no for the installation, no? I say, okay, I had to resolve this, and the second stair I put outside. An installation, I say, okay, I'm going to make this wall double, yeah? And all the installation pass in between these 2 walls, and at this point is enough big that permit the people pass side, and I resolve all the circulation at the wall, and this second stair I put outside, but I didn't want to express that like a stair. How I resolved that, instead to make the stair to the bottom, to the ground floor. In a moment, I cross the wall and I finish in the other part, no? Here and in the other wall and here, no? And I make the fans of the stair very big to change the scale, no? Not to appear like a stair, or to appear like an ornament. You see, here must resolve everything. This is And here I resolve all the installation. Okay, and this is the room. Again, the client asked me very space, very neutral, no windows, but I didn't want to offer to the city boxes that no one know what happened inside, facing the city. And I want to make again some relation with that reason in the corner. I make a gallery, a big window that in the middle of the exhibition you can go out, look at the city and follow the visit. And also from the city in a moment you see things that are happening inside, no? And in the last floor, no, because here they asked me so neutral, so no, almost nothing. And when I was in the last floor, the restaurant, I start to make geometry much more free, exhibit the structure, no? I like to make no noise, my freedom, my happiness. Not so neutral like they asked me rest of them. This is the model that we make for the competition, no? And you see this window in the corner, no? And also because the beam are on the top, but in the middle there are no only some tirante, how the cable, small pillars that is part of the supporting of the glasses. Don't see, and you see in the point that are more tension, that there are not structured, that they are floating. And also to change the scale. And also we make these enormous drawings that are not picture, it's only halls, that at night through these halls appear the light. But also is to change the scale of the building, because it's a very big building, but we wanted to appear like something more less and more, not so monumental. We make everything to appear small. No? You see how behind we have the house, you realize the scale, no? And because this window is not 6 meters, but 5 meters, I think, like that. And you see, this is my intention, that the people from outside see things that happened inside, no? And the stairs are also to change the scale, no? Because as you make a fence at this measure of a human, this become big, but changing the scale of the fence appear small. Everything seems small in comparison of the building that we have behind. Okay, the structure, no, is, and the two boxes, no, and the lobby is completely with no dependence, with no relation, only this enormous beam. I show you. This is the part of the entrance, no, with the lobby that work separately of the rest of the building, that go to the street, that seems ask people to enter, to come inside. And this is the thing that I explained, no, that this lobby is with no relation with the structure of the rest of the building, but this platform had to be supported, no, and I wanted to express also dynamism. For that reason, the pillar is not one, it's two that cross and go skyline, no? Skyline, no. Highlight,
Yeah.
no? That the natural light arrive, and each moment of the day is different, no? And express dynamism, not something the pillar is static, but when you make two, but it's not the pillar that support the ceiling, the pillar that support the cross, and the cross is the one that support the ceiling, no? And same that is like element that help go with you with the movement to pick up the elevator that behind the ticket table. ¿Cómo se llama esto?
Ticket booth. Yeah.
We can the stair. Everything must be. This is the stair that as for fire must be completely closed, but we make something more ornamental, like an element, instead to make a box to resolve the stair. We manage that the box of the fire stair came like a sculptural element. The big pillar. No, this is the entrance of the gallery, no? The middle of the room. And here the thing that I explained you, that in the top, when you are free of art, free of this control of the space, move a very free geometry, showing the structure. You see the enormous beam that cross in diagonal, and also they make tents, cortinas, tents, curtain, no?
Lines. Yeah,
curtains for make separation, a small restaurant in a moment, and this is the guide of the curtains that again we read them more alegres, happy, alegres, and yeah, and this geometry is so precise permit us that at the same level of the cafeteria you are the terrace, no? Here, no? See? And when in the ground floor, also because from outside you see the building something solid, blind, no? But when you are in the interior, it's very transparent. The natural light arrive from everywhere. And also when you arrive in the underneath, no? Through the garden that I explained before, the light is coming. This is the amphitheater, no? And this is the garden that I explained you. That in the concerts, you arrive from the lobby, but you go out through the garden, no? And they make now parties and work very well. At night, all these drawings are in light, and it's a building that instead to be illuminated is a building that illuminates
and
make light the city, no? Yeah. Okay. And the last one is, again, because so important for me is to understand the context, to understand not only the context, physical, also cultural. It's so important, the responsibility of being architect is to understand the society. In a way, we construct the space of the relations, of the sociability can be done. And it's important. It's time that you go one place is to understand where you are. Sorry. Allora estic parlant, et truco després, estoy envidia, ciao, ciao. Okay, this is Mallorca, and an old monastery that is an hotel now, and the commission was to make 4 villas, houses,
Villas,
houses.
villas.
Sí.
Yeah, villas.
Yeah, villas, and the ampliation of the spa. And I start to understand the landscape of Mallorca. Mallorca is almost everywhere is terrace. Is the walls in stone. Is the most normal landscape in Mallorca. I have a house and I have 5 terraces like that. From the sea. Very happy. And this is the hotel before our actuation. No, you see here the terrace, the wall here. No, but the terrace before our was very back of the landscape. No, was focused to the swimming pool. Everything make expression through the and focus in the swimming pool. No. We must open to the landscape. And they asked me to make an spa in the basement. There are big difference on level from this level of the swimming pool and the territory here. And this is the first sketch, very bad, but it's the first idea that I say, okay, the wall here that pass here, we must broken the wall and make a space in the bin to make the villas. No? Here, yeah, with more concentrated wall that is broken, and here start to appear the villas. One facing. But when you are here, you don't see the people that. This is the first sketch. Here is the result. No, the result is the basement. This is the part of the ampliation of the spa. Yeah, and the villas. No, this is the villas, the 4 villas that make the prolongation of the garden. No, and from when you are in the swimming pool, that I make the ampliation of the spa, of the terrace, no? But you see the tops of the villas, like a landscape. This is the idea, no? This is the 4 villas, yeah? And the top of this villa is the landscape that you see from the hotel. And you see the idea to be completely part of the landscape, not contrast. Also, this is the ampliation. I was very afraid, very worrying about the end of the materialization of the facade of the spa, because my client wanted very transparent. They wanted to offer the people that are in the swimming pool, in the spa, see the views. This is the massage room. They wanted offer view, and they wanted glasses, glass. And they no, this old monastery, the basement of the old monastery is not possible to be glass, no. And I managed to make this with shadows, no, build pergolas. No, you will see later. No, this. And the reflection of the glasses is behind. You don't see, no? Again, this idea, no? The top, the prolongation of the garden. And you see one villa facing to the landscape, and seems that the landscape belongs to them, no? Because they don't see anybody. Only, yeah. Is the plan of La villa are two rooms, and you enter from here, no? And when you go down, you see the landscape, the small swimming pool, and here the living room, and the interior, no, again, from the outside, it's very solid. Seems that it's closed, but when you are inside, it's completely transparent. Okay, I don't know. Because sorry, my English, sorry, very early.
No, it was really good.
And we don't have very time. I explained these three projects. Also, Melbourne, I had to explain Melbourne. This last one, because I think it's an exercise for landscape, quite interesting.
Yeah,
And the other, because Melbourne is a city, a lot of singular building, and I go. I don't know. I prefer a question. I hope I'm going to understand the question.
Yeah,
okay.
there are.
It's not you. You are going to help me.
Yeah. Thank you again for the presentation, Carme, and for sharing your time with us. Really, we appreciate it. There are actually several questions in the chat, so depending on your time, you let me know. About the way you work in the office.
I don't listen very well.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Perfect. Sorry. Hector was asking that when you start working in the concepts of your projects, do you start in 2D, in plans, elevation, or do you start directly in 3D with physical models?
No. I start always I start with small sketches, but when I make any sketches, I have in my head also the program, also the way that the structure work. You see, when I show you the sketch of La Caixa Forum, is these two rectangle crossing, no? And the beam that cross in diagonal. And in this sketch, I had in my head the program, the structure, almost the material. And also, because I like to be very honest when I make a lecture. And all the sketches that I show you that are not beautiful, but are real. And you see how we start. We start with these sketches. After these sketches that I start myself with these sketches, then I offer to my studio these sketches, and we make a measure a little, and suddenly we jump in models. In the pavilion, how the program was so simple. I remember in the plane back to Barcelona with a small paper, I made the small model paper, and I arrived with a very, very, very tiny model, and I offered to the studio, try to make that in measure. But the architecture must be taught, and is a structure, is circulation, is program, and must manage to make the sketch that make all these things possible. No? And the sketch must be the expression of formality. This is the way that I like form. I never work in abstract. I never work in 3D. I never start in 3D, yes, but in my head, absolutely, I work in 3D, but never in never the the small model. I start with the small model when I have a idea in my head, a concept, and the concept must be expressed with the sketches as simple and that permit everything: program, circulation, structure, materiality. Yeah, the sketch never is rigid. Is rules. For that reason, if you pay flexibility in this sense, yeah, because in more are rules to make sense, more that then you find the measure of it. But I don't understand with a plastic conception, a rigid conception of plastic. Always in a sketch there is a plastic conception, formality, but not precise, not rigid rules. I say that I like to make architecture and to express like a tree. When you see the tree, you see how the tree arrived to there, how the structure of the tree is the trunk and the branches, the root. I like to be like a tree. My architecture is my symbol, the tree.
There was another question about the about how you come up with the concept once you right. And Ariana was asking when you were talking about the pavilion in Melbourne, how quickly the concept came up as soon as you walked into the site, as soon as you arrived. And he was wondering if you ever had to come up with a concept for a site before visiting it, before going there. And if so, how do you research about that about that context to understand the site?
¿Me lo puedes traducir un poquito? Porque,
Claro,
sí,
exacto.
resúmelo.
Sí, que si alguna vez has tenido que desarrollar un proyecto para algún sitio que no has podido visitar. Y en ese caso, ¿cómo haces la investigación para entender el contexto?
Yeah. Now with the corona, I have a big problem because now I am doing a hotel in Tulum that is a very special place in Mexico. And it's terrible. I don't manage because they send me photographs, but so difficult because the site is one atmosphere also. It's not, for example, when I start to work in Melbourne, with photograph, with in abstract, it's so different when you arrive and you see these hills and how the people use these hills, and in a sunny day, the relation of the park with the city, how the city use the park. It's all that, the context, not photograph. It's not a perception, static perception. And I don't know, I think I am completely lost in this project in Tulum. It's so difficult. It's so difficult. It's because we work for the society, and then we must understand we work to build a space for society. And if you don't know, it's not physical. We are more than that. Okay, answer. I am very worried about my bro. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. They were asking a lot about how present the structure is in your projects, and you have mentioned that the shape is directly connected to the structure and the lecture of the context you explained.
Yes.
In all the projects that you've seen, and generally in your projects, there is usually not symmetry in the structure. Why is the honesty of the structure so important for you, and why do you avoid symmetry?
Yeah, because no, I say that my symbol is a tree, and I have the theory when you understand how something is supported, how they to understand the forces, because in a way everything is a structure. It's an equilibrium of forces. We can say that everything is forces, and the structure is how these forces are in equilibrium, no? To stay in the ground. And the expression, I say a lot of time that there are not a tree more beautiful than another. The nature is always structure and rules for the structure. When you see how a leaf is the nervios.
Yeah, the nerve. Yeah,
you see a leaf, and you see the rule of how it's growing up, and the materialization is rules on the structure to equilibrium the forces, and to permit it to grow up. And I like that, and I like to express that in my architecture. Why are no symmetry my architecture? Also because I like the dynamism. I don't believe in one true. This is true, this is lie, this is good, this is bad. No? It seems is I like that the things are not so precise, that depend on the point of the view and the flexibility. And this is more near of the dynamism and the more that the symmetry that is more static. And for example, in my architecture, I avoid the frontality. I like more the vision tangential, because the frontality seems that catch the thing, stop the movement, and I like more the fluidity. It's difficult to find something exactly symmetric in the nature. It's clear the rules, but always there are something different with one part or another. No, and I like express this. No, and when the imposition, the human imposition of the truth, so rigid, and I don't believe in monotheism, that this is the truth. This is good. This is bad. Everything depends. Rules. I like the nature.
It's like the rules of the game, right? If you understand the rules of the game, you can play freely with them.
Yeah. And I say, for example, in a sketch, playing of sketch, ajedrez es sketch, ¿no? No, ¿cómo se dice? Sketch. Chess. Yes. Each moment is beautiful. You can say the moment is more beautiful than another. because each time rules of the game are yeah.
Great, thank you very much. Do you have time for another question, Carme? Or
One
is
more,
it
one more, only
okay,
one
perfect.
more.
Yeah. You've mentioned several times through some lectures that your goal with architecture is to create city and never submit to the market rules when you think they are not right. And that is something that the people have been asking also about your clients and about your projects. How does that translate into your projects or the way you pick projects? How do you transform that first brief, el enunciado inicial? How do you transform it into something relevant for the city?
It's to think in the city. In a way, when I explain you a Kasha Forum, I explain in relation with the city. I explain how I want to offer the building like a door that connect two parts that for a lot of time has been separate. And it's to think in the city. And I say also, I want to appear like something emblematic that you can see from far, and at night it became like a light. This is thing that I offer to the city. And it's to sing in the city. It's not, this is me, it's how, when I explain La Garduña, I explain from the point of view from far, no? How when you are walking in a street and you perceive the Masana far, how you perceive and how the building appropriate the space in front, how the building offers space to the city. Is always thinking that we must be generous city. We are part of the city. It's not, this is my territory, this is me. No. The city is a community relation, and our actuation must offer something.
About coexist, right? As you mentioned sometimes, co-living, coexisting, yeah,
exactly.
convivir in general. Yeah.
Sí, absolutely.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much again.
Sorry, my English. Sometimes it's better
no,
for others. But
I think the communication was pretty smooth. Thank you very much. I think everything was clear, and the images were really powerful. So I'm sure everyone got your point.
Maybe I explain. I show project that a lot of people know. I don't know. Maybe the last one was not.
No, but I mean, I'm sure it's great to hear them from you directly. So it was great, the presentation. Thank you very much, Carme.